Thrilled to welcome Symphony 3 to the Local Government News Roundup family. If you're a local council, you know how challenging it can be to manage data across all your different systems. That's where Symphony 3 comes in. They've developed Smart Glue, a platform that integrates over 55 council systems, automating data flow without the need for manual work. It turns confusion into simplicity. With Smart Glue, councils save time, reduce errors and empower staff to focus on what really matters. Their clients see a real difference, up to 20% boost in productivity, with savings of over $30,000 per integration every year. Symphony 3 helps councils work smarter, faster and more efficiently, all while better supporting the communities they serve. The last-minute cancellation of a troubled festival, a retaining wall coming down after a council stop work order, safety concerns shut down a major council facility. New South Wales and Queensland councils brace for Alfred's arrival. A regional CEO is stepping down. A Lord Mayor taken to task over social media. Another council to auction properties over unpaid rates. And a council's win in court over illegal tree removal. All ahead on the Roundup. Good morning, it's Friday the 7th of March. I'm Chris Eddy and this is the Local Government News Roundup, a selection of news from and about councils across Australia and beyond, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, your councillor support network, and by Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. The Esoteric Music Festival in Donald, Victoria, which was expected to attract over 11,000 people this week, has ultimately been cancelled just days after receiving a council permit. The municipal building surveyor declined to grant a crucial occupancy permit on 33 grounds, and Bull Oaks Shire Council does not have the authority to overturn it. The festival will now be postponed until 2026. Devastated organisers told ABC News last night that the cancellation was bureaucracy and politics gone mad. A retaining wall at Frankston Beach is coming down after work was halted by Frankston City Council earlier this week. ABC News reported that the works prompted more than 50 complaints to local MP Paul Edbrook's office. The council issued a stop work order saying it had no record of approved vegetation removal or construction plans. CEO Phil Cantillon said the council was investigating whether the structure, which includes 4-metre deep galvanised pylons, encroaches on Crown land, and it holds concerns about the impact on coastal ecosystems. Homeowner Jean Neal told ABC Radio that he believed the beachfront area was his property, but that he would pull down the works and sell the home and move elsewhere. The state government has moved to deal with one of the concerns councils have been expressing about its new fire services levy system. It announced yesterday that eligible CFA and Vic SES volunteers would be able to claim rebates after paying the levy through their rate notices. Rebates will be able to be applied across a range of farm ownership structures, and councils will receive additional funding to support the implementation of the system. Legislation to enable the new fund to replace the existing fire services levy is being introduced to Parliament this week. The Geelong Resource Recovery Centre and Transfer Station in Duro Street has been closed indefinitely due to structural safety concerns identified in a building condition report. Greater Geelong Council is investigating the issues and communicating with impacted staff and contractors as a first priority. While the facility remains closed, residents can access alternative waste disposal services at multiple locations, including Drysdale in the city of Wyndham and several specialised facilities in the Greater Geelong area. Mornington Peninsula Shire councillors have unanimously approved a new policy framework governing forced property sales or bankruptcy proceedings for ratepayers with long-term unpaid rates. The Mornington News reported the new measure would only be used as a last resort for delinquent ratepayers who refuse to engage with the council. The policy includes specific criteria to protect vulnerable residents and principal places of residence, requiring debts to exceed $5,000 and be more than 3 years overdue. The council noted this extreme measure hasn't been used since 2009. It is, however, being used in New South Wales, and I have a story about just that coming up later in this episode. Cardinia Shire Council has decided to close facilities at the Pakenham Golf Course after the current management company announced it would cease operations at the site from the 1st of April. The council says the difficult decision was made due to the significant investment required because of previously unidentified infrastructure issues and weed infestation. Some facilities on the site will close, but the Deep Creek Eco Play Space, wetlands and kickabout area and the public toilets will remain accessible. Meanwhile, the council will continue to consider next steps for the site. In a welcome announcement from Melton City Council, the federal government will invest $1 billion to upgrade the Western Highway between Melton and Caroline Springs. Mayor Councillor Steve Abushi said the Western Highway upgrade has been a top priority for the council and the community. Details are to be confirmed, but works will likely include extra lanes and upgrades to key interchanges. Mitchell Shire Council has voted to cancel the $5.4 million restoration project of Seymour's old Goulburn River Bridge, settling the contract for around $860,000 instead of proceeding with full restoration. The council determined the project could not be justified financially and it would not contribute sufficiently to tourism outcomes. A Ballarat environmental group is requesting that Ballarat City Council reconsider a decision to terminate a 3-year, $285,000 funding agreement. It's been alleged the agreement with Breeze was canned after anti-Semitic comments were posted online by a former president. According to an ABC News report, pressure was placed on council executives to act on the comments after being brought to their attention by a councillor. A council representative said any conduct brought to its attention was taken seriously and investigated. It's understood the group's new president has made a complaint to the council and asked for a review of the decision. And Bass Coast Mayor Councillor Rochelle Halstead has paid tribute to the late Neville Goodwin OAM, a dedicated community leader who served Bass Coast in multiple roles, including Commissioner, Councillor and Mayor. His extensive contributions to local organisations and tireless advocacy left an indelible mark on the region. Valet Neville Goodwin. Now for more council news in brief, the Great Victorian Rail Trail in Mansfield Shire has undergone essential maintenance works, including surface repairs and vegetation management. The council has invested around $55,000 to keep the popular recreational asset in good condition. The trail has attracted nearly 60,000 users since last June. Loddon Shire has welcomed a $950,000 election pledge from the Nationals towards the Little Lake Bort Recreation Precinct project, which aims to enhance the foreshore area, including improvements to various recreational facilities. Mayor Dan Straub said it would be a welcome boost for the local community and for tourism. And Wangaratta Council will transition from physical parking meters to the Easy Park app as the sole payment method for CBD parking. The council has included provisions for those unable to use the app in its transition plans. The system will offer benefits such as paying only for time used, remote session extension and usability across multiple locations. This is the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 7th of March, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association with support from Symphony 3. Local councils know how challenging it can be to manage data across all your different systems. That's where Symphony 3 comes in. They've developed Smart Glue, a platform that integrates over 55 council systems, automating data flow without the need for manual work, turning confusion into simplicity. With Smart Glue, councils save time, reduce errors, and empower staff to focus on what really matters. Symphony 3 clients see a real difference, up to a 20% boost in productivity, with savings of over $30,000 per integration every year. Symphony 3 helping councils work smarter, faster and more efficiently, all while better supporting the communities they serve. Simple, connected customer experiences. The tropical cyclone Alfred situation is fast moving. Councils across southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales have been working around the clock this week, preparing communities for the cyclone's arrival. Tweed Shire Mayor Chris Cherry expressed confidence in the community's resilience and acknowledged the hard work of council staff and emergency services. She said it's been a challenging few days and there's a long way to go, calling on people to stay safe and work together to manage through the event. In Lismore, which is bracing for yet another flooding event, council facilities have been closed since Tuesday evening. and curbside waste collection suspended for the week. The council has assured the community that the levy system, including pumps, gates and levies, is fully operational. The Lismore app reported that all damage from the 2022 flood disaster has been repaired. The CEO of LGAQ, Alison Smith, said councils have been opening refuge centres, distributing sandbags and keeping communities informed while working with various other agencies on cyclone preparations. Moreton Bay Regional Council says it's already gone through 3 times the amount of sand used in preparing for tropical cyclone Alfred than in its biggest previous weather event. As at yesterday, the council said it had used 300,000 sandbags and 3,000 tonnes of sand. A rapid response plan to evacuate key areas of Bribie Island was activated yesterday. Brisbane sandbag stations ceased operations last night, along with the council's 4 recovery centres, which will remain closed until safe to reopen. And on the Sunshine Coast, the council yesterday warned people to stay off coastal dunes and seawalls, as shifting sands and rocks posed a serious risk of collapse and instability. Numerous locations along the shoreline have been weakened by erosion, creating steep drop-offs and increasing the danger of sand collapsing on top of children. As I mentioned on our last episode, all of those councils have amazing resources available to people, disaster dashboards, a range of information on how to stay safe and prepare and where to find resources and services and how they're affected. We wish everyone the absolute best in preparing and staying safe for this event. Now to other news from around the nation, and in Orange, the City Council there will begin the search for a new CEO next month after David Waddell announced that he won't seek to renew his contract when it expires in August. Mr Waddell has led the council's executive team since 2019. The 60-year-old chief executive says he's looking to step back from full-time work to spend more time with family and pursue other opportunities. During his tenure, Mr Waddell steered the council through significant challenges, including, of course, COVID-19, drought and a period of substantial growth for the regional city. Orange Mayor Tony Melito has praised Mr Waddell's 15-year contribution to the council, including 6 years as CEO. Newcastle CEO Jeremy Barth has challenged Lord Mayor Ross Kerridge over social media posts about staffing issues, according to a report from the Newcastle Herald. The dispute centres around unfilled positions in the Lord Mayor's office, which have remained vacant for over 5 months. Mr Barth claims multiple candidates have withdrawn their applications, citing concerns over the Lord Mayor's social media activity. He's believed to have discussed the Lord Mayor's social media activity with him privately and holds concerns about the effect on staff well-being. The Executive Assistant and Chief of Staff positions are expected to be filled by the end of March. The South West Sydney Alliance is calling for urgent government commitment to expand rail infrastructure in the rapidly growing region, which is projected to reach 1 million residents within 15 years, but currently faces severe transport inadequacies. The Alliance has identified 3 critical rail projects for the region, encompassing Camden, Campbelltown, Liverpool and Wallandilly councils. They include extending the airport metro line to Campbelltown, building a rail extension between Leppington and Bradfield, and extending the T8 line to the Wilton growth area. Speaking of Campbelltown, the City Council has received nearly $77,000 in federal funding to install battery storage systems at 5 of its early learning centres, which will help reduce electricity costs by utilising excess solar energy. The funding is part of a broader national initiative that awarded 58 grants in its first round, with local governments required to match at least 50% of project costs. Murrumbidgee Council will auction more than 20 properties with over $350,000 in unpaid rates and charges, some payments being in arrears for over 5 years. The properties are in Jerilderie, Collyamberley and Darlington Point. The auction will take place at the Jerilderie Council office on the 11th of June, following the advertising and notification procedures required by the Local Government Act. And Coonamble Shire Council has extended water bill payments by 60 days after faulty usage readings affected around 300 assessments in the last quarter of 2023-24. The billing issues arose from contractor calculation errors and technical faults, with the council now working to verify correct amounts and offering instalment payment options to affected residents. A little more news out of Queensland. Tablelands Regional Council Mayor Rod Marty has initiated reviews of the council's customer request management system and the road maintenance program. The reviews will be conducted by CEO Dr. Nicola Stepanov with the aim of identifying areas for improvement and resource requirements. The findings will be presented at a future council meeting. Douglas Shire Council's bin tagging program has successfully increased recycling efforts with an additional 546 kilograms of recyclable material collected and an 8% improvement in yellow bin usage after monitoring 2,625 households. The program used a colour-coded tag system to provide feedback on bin contents. The council has rewarded 4 participants who showed improved recycling habits with $100 vouchers to local businesses. Meanwhile, Bundaberg Council will commence a bin tagging program this month after a recent audit showed 18% of recycling bins were contaminated and 1 in 3 households were putting batteries in bins, creating a potential fire hazard. More news in brief. Hawkesbury City Council has welcomed 11 new staff members across 6 departments in various apprenticeships, cadetships and traineeships, with roles ranging from accounting to parks and gardens. Mayor Les Sheether said the council is committed to developing local talent, highlighting that over 50% of their staff are local residents. Townsville City Council is trialling a new initiative with Containers for Change by installing 50 container exchange points, allowing residents to place eligible containers for others to collect and redeem for 10-cent refunds. The trial aims to increase container recycling rates and reduce bin diving, with Townsville already demonstrating strong recycling engagement through over 88 million containers returned through the program last year. And Wingecarribee Shire Council has secured a $500,000 federal grant to replace gas boilers with electric heat pumps at Moss Vale War Memorial Aquatic Centre, a project that will cost $1 million in total and will be completed by March 2027. Rounding out the national stories now with news out of Tasmania, South Australia and Western Australia. In Tasmania, the city of Hobart is seeking community input on plans for a new Sandy Bay passenger ferry terminal at Lords Beach, which will include facilities like a kiosk, toilets, bike storage and charging stations for e-bikes and e-scooters. Lord Mayor Anna Reynolds noted the ferry service from Bellerive to Hobart has been wildly popular, with more than 120,000 ferry trips taken in its first year, highlighting the potential success of an expansion to the ferry network. In South Australia, a tree removal contractor in Burnside has been convicted and fined $10,000 for illegally removing a regulated river redgum tree in Rossland Park. City of Burnside CEO Julia Grant said the outcome would act as a strong deterrent against future instances of illegal tree damage. Following that incident and the City of Burnside's lobbying efforts, the state government has implemented stricter tree protection regulations, lowering the size thresholds for regulated and significant trees across Greater Adelaide. The District Council of Cleve is considering purchasing a $50,000 kangaroo family sculpture by local artist Peter Crosby and is holding a public consultation on the proposal. The sculpture, featuring 3 kangaroos named after the artist's grandmother, aims to enhance tourism appeal and showcase local artistic talent in the region. If purchased, it would join Mr Crosby's existing public artworks, including Bonnie and Clyde, the Clydesdales, and Reggie the Wedgie. And in Western Australia, the Shire of Murray Council has rejected a proposed structure plan amendment for Point Grey that would have delivered over 2,000 dwellings, local parkland, a primary school and commercial facilities in place of a previously planned marina. While supporters argued the development would be self-sufficient and help address the housing crisis, the council's economic analysis found the substantial infrastructure and environmental costs outweighed potential benefits. According to Perth Now, there are also concerns that the somewhat isolated site is at high risk of bushfires and there would need to be the clearing of native vegetation to reduce the bushfire risk. Global Roundup time starting in the UK today, where Surrey County Council has warned that finding a permanent solution for the 2 large sinkholes that appeared in a local town could take several months. The sinkholes appeared in Godstons High Street last month, leading to the evacuation of 30 homes and requiring foam concrete stabilisation as a temporary measure. BBC News reported that the council is hopeful residents can return sooner than the initially forecast timeline of up to a year. St Albans City and District Council has voted 25-20 to remove Christian prayers from the start of council meetings over concerns about the exclusion of individuals with different faiths or no religious beliefs. The decision, supported by the National Secular Society, comes as census data shows Christians make up 47.4% of the local population, while 37.1% report having no religion. The Daily Mail reported that a moment of reflection could be added to meetings at the discretion of the Mayor, to be conducted in an entirely non-denominational way. Newcastle City Council has signed Unison's anti-racism charter, committing to implement policies and actions that promote racial equality and combat discrimination in the workplace. The charter requires specific measures, including race equality policies, ethnicity pay gap monitoring and anti-racism training, supporting the council's broader vision of creating an inclusive environment where everyone can thrive. In Los Angeles, in the US, the City Council has voted overwhelmingly to uphold Mayor Karen Bass's decision to remove the fire chief, Kristen Crowley, from her position. The council voted 13-2 against reinstating Crowley, who was fired in the aftermath of the recent Palisades and Eaton fires, according to ABC News. Crowley defended her leadership during a hearing this week, citing severe understaffing and equipment shortages. She revealed that about 1,000 firefighters had to be sent home during the fires due to a lack of working vehicles, with over 100 emergency vehicles out of service due to maintenance issues. While Crowley has lost her position as chief, she will remain with the department at a lower rank. In Massachusetts, Everett City Council has voted unanimously to demand that its mayor, Carlio DeMaria, return $180,000 in overpayments received through misapplication of the city's mayoral longevity ordinance between 2016 and 2021. The vote comes after an Inspector General's report revealed the payments were hidden from the City Council and the public. WCVB.com reported that it's led to new oversight measures being implemented. In Spokane, Washington, the council is considering significant amendments to its homelessness policies, including changes to shelter activation requirements and the introduction of good neighbour agreements for city-funded facilities. The CenterSquare.com reported the city is waiting to see how state legislation might impact local regulations before making major changes. To Canada, and councillors in Niagara-on-the-Lake this week approved a motion requiring the town primarily purchase Canadian-made goods and services. Niagara this week reported that the council heard almost $120 billion in goods cross the US border in Niagara, and there are concerns about the impact on local businesses from US President Donald Trump's tariffs. Around 80 town businesses produce goods for the US market, employing about 1,700 people. In Auckland, New Zealand, the Mayor Wayne Brown has proposed a time-of-use charge to address the city's severe traffic congestion, which is projected to cost Auckland $2.6 billion annually by next year, according to a new cost of congestion white paper. The time-of-use charge solution aims to manage peak time demand on motorways and major roads, alongside other measures like dynamic lanes and improved public transport infrastructure. East Ward Councillor Mark Donovan has resigned from Hamilton City Council after serving since 2021 and holding various leadership roles, including chair of the Regulatory and Hearings Committee and Sports Ambassador. His resignation to focus on other commitments will not trigger a by-election due to proximity to October's local government elections. And Hamish Riach has been reappointed as Chief Executive of Ashburton District Council for another 5 years, following the completion of his maximum 7-year term under the Local Government Act. Another week of the Local Government News Roundup is in the can. This was edition number 436, recorded on Friday the 7th of March 2025. Your comments and feedback is welcome, along with story tips, by sending an email to lgweeklynews@gmail.com. And more details on this episode, including all the story links, can be found at lgnewsroundup.com. The Local Government News Roundup is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government. Look out for a special new edition of VLGA Connect this weekend. And thank you to Symphony 3 for their support for the podcast. Simple, connected customer experiences. The Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I'll be back on Monday with our next edition. Until then, thanks for listening and bye for now. A councillor's commitment to community doesn't stop when their time as an elected representative ends. In recognition of this and to strengthen its ongoing support for former councillors, the VLGA has launched an alumni program open to anyone who has held an elected position in local government. By becoming a VLGA alumnus, former councillors will have access to VLGA programs and special alumni networking events, as well as the opportunity to participate in forums and share key learnings and insights to inform sector advocacy. You'll be kept up to date on local government news and be able to participate in VLGA events and professional development opportunities at a special VLGA alumni member rate. To find out more about this exciting opportunity, visit www.vlga.org.au.